Check this out. We've got horses. Somebody wants some belly scratches. Want some belly scratches? Oh. You gonna scratch his belly? Scratch, scratch, scratch the belly. Good job. Good scratches. High five. Yeah. What are you doing? Alright, well, welcome back to Boisterous Cock Farmstead. So today is November 3rd, and I want to give you guys an update. We've got these two pigs here are 11 weeks old now as of today, and they're actually doing really well. These are Tootsie's babies, but I also wanted to show you Pumpkin's litter, so we'll go around here. Come on, Bubba. All right, so behind me over there, we've got Pumpkin's litter, and today is week 6 for them. So I am actually going to separate Pumpkin and Tootsie. Both of the mamas have been in here, have been feeding these guys. So they've actually grown quite well, and over the last 2 weeks, I've been giving them a little bit more grain-based food, and wanted to try to push through that whole twisted gut issue that I had on the one from the last litter. And I think we're past that, but really the only way that I'm going to know that is once they're on a full grain diet, and hopefully they don't have any issues. But it's not something that I usually have an issue with, but because it's something that happened recently, it's just kind of fresh on my mind. So I'm going to, later on today, I'll actually move Pumpkin and Tootsie over with the rest of my big herd over there on the big paddock and give some separation between these babies here and the mamas, so they're not trying to push through the fence. I think 1 or 2 of them might be able to slip through a small spot where that gate is over there. So I kind of want to discourage that as much as I can. And then also I want them to be able to range freely and have the babies go out and graze and just be pigs. So other than that, everything's going fairly well. I've been working on the our master bedroom the last few days, and I've got the drywall done, sanded, textured, and the next phase is going to be paint. So as I have time to do that, I'll be painting the ceiling and walls, and I'll go in there here a little bit later and show you guys some footage of that and insert it here. Alright, so here we are in the master bedroom. As you can see, there's the walk-through to the bathroom there, and the closet that I had to build because there was no closet in this room when we first bought this place. So it shrunk down the room considerably, but there'd be a lot of clothes space in there. But right now this is just textured walls and the same swirl texture ceiling that I've done in the other rooms. And the next step is going to be trying to get up this old vinyl tile or possibly asbestos tile, depending on the age. So we'll see how well it separates from the concrete, and coming in here, cleaning up all the drywall dust, and probably doing a couple runs of mopping. And need to paint the ceiling, reinstall the lights and the mini split cover, and then this is going to turn into the living room area. So we'll put the TV in the closet for now, and we'll put the sectional somewhere along this wall or this corner or whatever, and probably put the Poang chair in here, and just kind of use this as the living room for now. And then once that's done, I'll come into the actual living room, clear all this stuff out. Some of this is just overflow that needs to just be organized or sorted through, thrown away, whatever. Some of it's decorations that will go up in different places, either the living room or the bedroom, and a lot of these are tools that just need to be put out in the mobile home. And start tearing up this tile here, do whatever repair and leveling that I need to do on the concrete floor in here, and then start laying out the tile in the living room and into the dining room and eventually into the kitchen there. And yeah, so it's always a challenge in any house to work under construction, but because this house is under 900 square feet and there's certain things that just need to be in climate control, so that they're not either frozen or what have you, or overheated, especially in the summertime here. You don't want things being ruined or melted or whatever in the heat. So just kind of moving things around, and also taking care of a 2-year-old. It's a bit of a challenge, but in the long run it will definitely be worth it. We'll have a nice little house that we won't have a huge mortgage on, and we can then enjoy it and remember the days when things were tougher, and whenever new tough things come our way, we can just laugh it off and say it's nothing we can't handle. So hopefully that helps you guys or inspires you guys that you're not alone in trying to do something that maybe isn't popular or as mainstream of an idea or whatever. But don't worry about what other people are thinking or doing. If you have conviction about what it is that you're doing, then just keep your nose to the grindstone and do it the best you can, and hopefully you come ahead on the other side. Asher's in there singing to himself there. So I'm gonna go outside and check on some piglets. Say hi, Bubba. Some of my chickens are coming out of molt, so whereas I was only getting 1 to 2 eggs maybe a day, some days I wouldn't get any eggs. We're getting 4 to 6 eggs in places that I know that they're laying, and even have a couple of those copper Moran girls that are starting to lay, so that's exciting. Hopefully they're done molting here and we'll start getting some more production. Okay, so at the beginning, oh, they're running off. All right, so at the beginning of the video, I teased that we had horses. We do not. What ended up happening was the one half of our property, the 20 acres that we weren't really using, that I had leased out to somebody who was running some cattle, my next door neighbor here. They, I guess, either didn't need it, or someone else who's the caretaker for the mom of the guy that I was leasing this land for the cattle approached him and said, hey, you know, would you mind if I put my horses over here, or entered a deal. So anyway, so the three of us came up with a deal, and now we've got horses over here on this property. And Although I am a little bit more hesitant to have horses versus cows because of the foot pattern and foot traffic that they produce. In talking with the owner of these horses, I told her, like, my main concern is that you don't overgraze the land, because that's what this property, when we first bought it, it had horses and alpacas all over it, and everything was just basically nibbled down to nothing, including the mesquite trees and everything. And so she said no, they're going to plan to have large bale feeding. So I can see there's at least 4 bales out here, and she even indicated that they were going to place the bales in different places so that all the extra wasted hay that they don't tend to eat will actually help to cover the ground over time. So that to me was a win-win, and I'm not trying to get a ton of money out of it, since I am getting some land benefit or some regenerative help on this property. So basically I'm just leasing it out for essentially what my taxes are on this property, plus a little bit. So it helps them out, helps me out, and we're better neighbors for it, I think. And we get to come over and see horses. So they're pretty skittish right now. As you can see, when I came over, started talking, they ran off. So hopefully over the next few months and years, depending on how long this deal lasts, Asher can actually get some exposure to some horses. But we have a couple other neighbors too that over time I'd like to have him get some horse exposure. So I went ahead and brought Pumpkin and Tootsie over here to my main herd, and they'll probably have some battle scars here over the next few days, because Pumpkin's pretty dominant and she's big. They'll get reacquainted for the most part once one of them establishes their dominance. It pretty much falls in line pretty quickly. So hey mama, you be nice to all these smaller pigs, okay? You're much bigger than they are. Be nice to them. I know, you miss your babies. At least you won't have anybody poking at your belly anymore. So we'll have these guys here for at least a couple weeks so that their milk will dry up. Once that happens, I'll whichever babies I've got left over that don't sell, or the ones that I'm going to be keeping for growing out for butchering for either a customer or myself, I'll bring them over together and not have to have so many blocks of so many separated groups. So, and then also depending on how many we sell, if we sell all the ones I want to, which would be at least 5 more, then I'll probably pair up with my next breeding group. But if you remember back in August, I had my boars got out, and so I'm not 100% sure that none of my girls got bred at that time. So I'm kind of keeping an eye out. I'll know that here in the next few weeks to a month, and if everything looks clear, then we can proceed with the next batch of breeding, which is probably going to be my hybrid boar Heath to one of my purebred guinea hogs, and see what a quarter or what a 3/4 guinea hog meat pig grows out to be. So that'll be something to look forward to in the future. As always, smash that like button if you like this video. Please send us a comment. Let us know if there's something else that you'd like to see. There's Bodie. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button and click the bell notification so that you're notified of any future videos as they come out. As always, thanks for joining us, and God bless. Asher, say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye. All right, so as I suspected, 2 of these little piglets for Pumpkin's patch, they're too small, and they can slip through or under one of the gates, or they dug through a corner of the gate there. So I brought Pumpkin and Tootsie back over to the same pen that they were in with the babies. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take those two that are in that holding pen there near the house, and when it's time to feed this afternoon, I'm going to feed Tootsie and Pumpkin in their normal trough, bring these guys out of there into this area here, and then eventually try to get Pumpkin and Tootsie and the two older piglets out with the main herd, and then that would leave the babies to be able to go back over to that holding pen there. So these babies are pretty skittish, so I'm not 100% sure that I'll be able to do that, but we'll see. Trial and error. If nothing else, they'll try to stay close to their moms at this point anyway, so I shouldn't have any problem with getting them back into this pen over here, because it's adjacent to the pen that Pumpkin and Tootsie are going to be in. So that is the plan for now, and I'll keep you guys posted as far as how it works out. Alright, so we got part one, or phase one, complete. I've got the 11-week-old Tootsie babies moved over here with everybody else, and it's actually kind of funny. One of the orange females from Pumpkin's litter is giving them the what for, showing them who's boss. So they will. There's the other one over there. So there is a considerable size difference, and going forward, the ones that I do raise for myself, I'll raise them all together. So at some point in time, they'll probably get to relatively close to the same size, unless the genetics from Pumpkin's side, because Pumpkin was not a runt, allows those piglets to grow even bigger than Tootsie's babies. So they're showing who's boss to each other. So that's gonna happen. That's gonna go for a little while here, and hopefully the biggest challenge is really getting the babies isolated. So I want them to kind of spend a little bit of time together for now, until it's time for feeding, and then I'll use the food as a distraction for the little babies, try to get them over into this kind of middle pen off of the hog barn, and so she's messing with the other piglet now from that group, and looks like she's putting up more of a fight. So that's gonna happen. You're gonna have, they'll have nicks and cuts and whatnot. It'll heal up in a week or so. Somebody will give up, and then they'll be at peace again. Looks like she won. You okay? I'll check on the other one. But that's to be expected. I'm actually surprised that the barrow, the big red barrow, is not as aggressive, but he's kind of eating right now, so we'll see if he tries to defend his turf. And then it'll kind of be whoever lost the fight there will go down and make sure that they're still, you know, second in line or whatever. Oh, we got another brush up, dust up. So hopefully around dinner time we'll have everybody sorted out again, and I'll have all of the little babies, or all of Pumpkin's babies, over in this holding pen that I've had Tootsie's babies in for the last few weeks, and they'll finish their next couple weeks separating from Mama, being sold, and I'll pull out the ones that I want to keep probably right before I try to sell any of them. And I just need to get them fed up big enough to where they're not going to slip out in those spots in the fence. So that's usually somewhere between 6 and 8 weeks is when that usually happens, and we're only at 6 weeks today. So and again, it's only the smaller ones that are doing it, that red one, and then there's a cream colored one that's kind of the runt, the leftover runt. So that's gonna do it for now, and we'll check back in after dinner time and see how well I got them separated at that point. All right, so I'm losing daylight here, so I wanted to get some thoughts down. I have failed miserably. This has been the hardest litter to contain and mamas to contain. Last night, Pumpkin pushed up against an area of the fence that I had 2 railroad ties for a future gate, and I had a hog panel that had been tied off with baling twine. And granted, it had been a couple years since I put it there, so the sun probably weakened the twine, but she came through and was looking to get back to her babies, and she pushed on it. So that let Tootsie out, Pumpkin out, and then the 2 older babies out. So I got them in last night, and I closed the 6-week-old babies into the hog barn. There's a board that I can put on the far wall. I'll show you that. So I just closed off that entrance over there, and what I did was I opened up one of these smaller crawl spaces so that only the babies can fit through, the moms can't. So we're going to hit the reset button. I'm going to try to attract all those babies in there tonight. I got the heat lamp going to give them visibility into that hole, and hopefully they'll want to get warm under the lamp there. So it's not always a success, but you roll with the punches. So I will try again tomorrow, or try it again getting them into this hog barn. If I get them all in there tonight, I think what I'm going to do is I'll just keep the babies in here for an extended period of time, because the problem is, because Pumpkin's so big and I don't necessarily trust being around her as much, I've been very limited with how much I can interact with the babies. So they have not trained themselves to come to the shaker like most of my pigs do by this age. So and there's no real reason other than I know that that's a secure location and I can build a wall over there. They have, you know, unlimited water. This one they have gravity fed water, which they may or may not know how to use yet, so I'll have to keep an eye on how much they're drinking and everything. But we're going to, like I said, hit the reset button, try to get them in there later today or tonight here, and then we'll just go from there, and I'll keep you guys posted. It'll be in another video because I'll edit and post this one. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed the comedy at the very least. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe, notification, all that stuff, and as always, thanks for joining us, and God bless.